Barack Obama is back. He's out there giving speeches for Democrats. He's campaigning for New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy. And really what he did here, in my opinion, is give the worst speech of his life by far. By far. Because Barack Obama of 2008 and Barack Obama of 2012, when he was campaigning for himself, the rhetoric was, the sky's the limit. I know the system seems like it's unchangeable, but we have to change it. We don't have a choice. Let's really go to the root of all of our problems and make it better. And what you're going to notice here is he doesn't even have that particular line of bullshit anymore. He's up front. He's saying, like, don't expect too much. So I got a lot to say about this. Take a look.
I know why sometimes folks just get tired, and maybe they say, I'm not going to bother voting this time. But here's the thing, we can't afford to be tired. I remember in 2016, folks said, I'm not inspired. Obama was okay, but we didn't get everything I wanted, so I'm just going to sit it next time. And y'all know how that turned out. That's what happens when you're not paying attention. That's what happens when you become complacent or you let your frustration lead to inaction. We cannot afford to be tired because of the young people here and the ones who are coming. I know it's hard. Phil doesn't claim he's going to solve every problem in New Jersey right away. I didn't solve every problem when I was president, but the fact is that as hard as it is, we can still make it better. It's hard to undo the legacy of discrimination that goes back centuries, but we can make it better. It's hard to deal with special interests who want to keep the status quo when you're trying to make the economy more fair and just, but you can make it better. It's hard in a big country where people disagree to get everybody moving in the same direction, but we can do better than we're doing. We really can. We can make it better. And when you've got the right person in the job, we might not get every single person employed, but we can get more people, more jobs. We may not get every child the best education in the world right here in Newark. We can give a lot more kids better education here in Newark. I didn't get every American health care, but boy, we got a whole lot more people in America health care. It makes a difference when we decide to make things better. When you've got somebody in your corner who's shown you that they will work for you, who has a track record of accomplishment, you got to go out there and work for them.
You got to go out there and work for them. That is ultimately my gripe with this speech, is that when you're campaigning, it is absolute lunacy to not say the opposite thing. Oh, I'm going to work as hard as I can for you, and I'm going to do it on every single front. Your pitch to voters while you're campaigning is, you got to do more shit for me. Like, why are you being lazy? Get up off your ass. Help me. What's the matter with you guys? There's a sense of entitlement there. There's this idea that Democratic politicians can't fail the people. Only the people can fail Democratic politicians. So what's your problem? What's the matter with you guys? Get up and at 'em. Go do something. Go help me. You have to earn that level of entitlement. You have to earn the right to tell people, I've delivered in so many ways, so you would be insane not to do this. And fact of the matter is, he didn't do that. He didn't deliver like that. So let's go through a lot of what he said here. You'll notice a theme. The theme is, I'm going to blame you guys. It's never on us. I mean, the gist of this is, you guys can't be upset just because we suck and just because we perpetually underdeliver. That's the gist of it. Okay, so he says, I remember in 2016, folks said, I'm not inspired. So, and you guys know how that happened, so you better go out and vote. Okay, former President Obama, whose fault is that? When you say, oh, in 2016, you guys weren't inspired, are you really putting that on the people for not sucking it up and going out and voting? Your only takeaway from that should be, man, Hillary ran a terrible campaign. She couldn't even beat this monster, joke, clown boy of a human, Donald Trump. But he's not saying that. He's not saying, damn, didn't Hillary really botch that by not making a good case for herself? No, he's saying it's your fault for not sucking it up and going to do it. I don't know how anybody thinks this is persuasive or that this can work. It's incredibly condescending and pedantic. He says, well, yeah, we didn't get everything we want. The problem is not that we didn't get everything we want. The problem is that we virtually didn't get anything we want. For example, his signature accomplishment, and he goes on to bring this up, Obamacare. That was a right-wing plan. It literally came from the Heritage Foundation. That was the answer to the left-wing proposal of a single-payer system. The idea was, let's keep these rapacious, mafia-like for-profit insurance companies in charge. They could keep price gouging you, but I'm just going to force you to go buy from them. And he says, well, we didn't get everybody coverage, but we got a lot more people coverage. But that nobody was asking for that. Nobody was asking for that kind of a reform, except previously Newt Gingrich and Chuck Grassley and a bunch of Republicans. So the issue's not that, well, we didn't get everything we want. You could say that if we got a public option. Okay, we didn't get everything we want. We got a public option, but you know what? That is a giant step in the right direction. But to do a right-wing healthcare reform, you could argue we didn't get anything we wanted there. We just got the priorities of the opponents implemented. And that was the problem with Bill Clinton, too. His biggest accomplishments were what? Welfare reform. Gutted welfare. Nobody on the left was asking for that. That's the opposite of what we want. The Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act, which is the repeal of Glass-Steagall. Nobody was asking for that. That made the country way worse. It's not that, hey, we didn't get everything we wanted. It's that we got the opposite of what we wanted. He says, this is amazing. While campaigning, Phil doesn't claim he's going to solve every problem. I didn't solve every problem. Well, what an inspiring message. Thank you. You're going into this thing, guys, don't get your hopes up too much. Guys, don't feel down because we can't deliver on Dickie McGee's X. How is this inspiring? How is this going to get people out to vote? This is the most pathetic thing I've ever heard. And the fact of the matter is, he has so thoroughly internalized the values of the corrupt and broken system, he doesn't even realize that he sounds like a moron when he does this. I mean, this is truly moronic. I mean, even Trump, when he goes out there, doesn't say shit like this. Now, granted, Trump's entire agenda is monstrous, but when he goes out there, he knows you got to play to the crowd. Barack Obama's like, the whole point of his stump speech here is, I'm not really going to play to you guys. I'm going to say it's on you. We're entitled to your support. Sure, we're not going to deliver, but go vote anyway. And then, the other point is, he says, well, it's hard to deal with special interests. And this is the crux of the problem. Because it's not that it's hard to deal with them. It's that you didn't even try to deal with them. What you did is you accepted as a precondition of the situation that they're going to be a voice in the room. And then you perpetually tried to split the difference between something that is nominally decent and what the donors want. And that's how we got the entire Barack Obama presidency. The original argument was, I'm not here to play the same old game. I'm here to change the game. He said that in one of his original ads. And then now it's, well, it's hard to deal with special interests. So what am I going to do? You didn't even try to deal with special interests. You didn't do any campaign finance reform. You didn't touch that issue with a 10-foot pole. You allowed the special interests into the room and then treated their voices like they're legitimate as opposed to what they are. A corrupting influence on the system where they rig the system through legalized bribes and they end up always getting what they want at the expense of what the American people want. I mean, this is really something, guys. This is really something. He now is at the point where he can't even pretend to be a politician who's going to solve problems. His strongest pitch to you is, I'm not going to give you everything you want. I'm not going to solve every problem. And here's the main point, guys. The only way that people don't get everything they want, but they get some of what they want, is if you have a fighter who's relentlessly fighting for everything you want. This is basic stuff. This is negotiation 101. You have to go in there like a bull in a china shop and say, I'm uncompromising. I'm going to get people exactly what they want. That's the whole point of democracy. I'm going to get people Medicare for all, free college, a living wage, an end to the wars, a Green New Deal. The list goes on and on. You have to be uncompromising on all of those fronts to then even get half of those things. So in other words, you have to push relentlessly, just to give a random example here, you have to push relentlessly for like a $20 minimum wage to even get a $15 minimum wage. And you guys know this if you've been following politics for a long time. You have to ruthlessly rep a hardcore position to get a compromise that's even half decent. But Barack Obama up front is like, relax, guys. We're not going to get you everything you want. Take it easy. We're better than the other guys, but we're entitled to your vote, so shut up and do it. I mean, it's a joke. And the final thing is this. And we're going to bring this up in a segment later as well, which is just as important. But did you guys know that in 1938, this is in the midst of, FDR's time in office. Started in, I think, 1933. In 1938, Democrats controlled 80% of the House of Representatives and 80% of the Senate. FDR was so popular, Americans voted for the same guy 4 times. This was before we had term limits. What happened is Republicans realized we're never going to be able to beat these people unless we do term limits, and then they put term limits into place. So what's the fact you take away from that? Americans got a little taste of social democracy. Just a little taste. And they creamed themselves, and they were like, I want this forever. And so you had 80% Democrats in the House, 80% Democrats in the Senate, and a president who won 4 elections. Compare that reality with what we're told today. Today we're told, what are you going to do? You know, the country's roughly 50-50. The elections are going to keep going back and forth. That's just the nature of the way it works. That's only the nature of the way it works if you're not materially delivering to improve people's lives. And that's my message to Barack Obama. This bullshit entitled, we're not going to get you what you want. Nobody's inspired by that. Nobody's going to get out and vote for that. And by the way, you didn't deliver on stuff people wanted. So yeah, of course you're going to have the pendulum effect. Of course you're going to have close elections. Of course it's going to go back and forth. Because people go, well, I hate these people. Let me vote for these people. I hate these people too. Let me go back to this person. Well, now I hate these people again too. So let me go back to this person. And that's what happens. It's the backlash effect every election. Every election, it's a lesser of two evils thing. Every election, it's let's just go with the opposite of what we have now because what we have now sucks. But if you actually provide people material well-being and do the right thing, you can win with colossal majorities. But they act like that's not even possible. Because at this point, they don't even know that that's possible. Their takeaway is just lazily like, well, the country's brainwashed because of Fox News and, you know, all these right-wingers and because half the country are just bad people. Like, that's their mindset. Well, no. Have you considered that maybe if you materially deliver for people, you actually will chip away big time at the block on the other side? Because you will, because history proves that. A joke. This is a joke. Worst speech he's ever given by far. The longer he's out of office, the more out of touch he is. Remember the first time he was in the news after his presidency? What was it? He was given I think it was a $400,000 speech to Wall Street. That was the very first time he was in the news when he left his presidency. Why would Wall Street give him that money? They're paying him back for when he bailed them out with no strings attached. That's what that was. You served us, now we're going to serve you. Barack Obama is of, by, and for the system. And he's part of the problem. This perpetual aim low culture of the Democrats, because also, by the way, they're bought by big money too. It's not just the Republicans. Worst speech of his life. Barack Obama in 2008 and Barack Obama of 2012 at least knew to pretend. At least knew to pretend. Now, he doesn't even have that in him. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.